What does a man start saying when he deeply loves you? How to tell if a guy deeply loves you through his words. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Make sure you hit the big red subscribe button with the little bell. And don't forget my new guide, Commitment Currencies. It was actually supposed to be part of a big product I was doing, and then I decided I didn't want to do the product. So now I'm just giving you the guide for free. You can check that out in the description. It talks all about how to make a man commit in a healthy way using the boyfriend benefits, which ultimately are the reason that men come to relationships. So you can check that out below. Now let's talk about some of these things that men say when they're deeply in love. Now a couple of things here. Some of these today are going to be more romantic and really feeling-based things that men say. Others are going to be more practical relationship skill-based things, and you'll see I've alternated them. So all the odd numbers are the more romantic ones. The even numbers are the more practical things you can look for that really show that you mean a lot to him. I'll give you a general verbiage for each of them and then some specific examples of how they might vary. So number one, let's start with the obvious. I love you. Alternatives to this could be, I'm really falling for you, I'm falling in love with you, or even I had one client and she said, Mark, the guy said, I like you, but it was in such a vulnerable way, in such a vulnerable context. He said it so slowly, he stared into my eyes that it was early on in their relationship. She said it was such a step up in vulnerability that it really meant a lot to me. I knew it meant something real when he said that. So when a man expresses himself, he really wants his words to have weight. Women speak almost 3 times as many words per day as do men, and there's a reason for this. As women, silly fly, as women, you process verbally. You talk to your friends, you process things verbally. It's not a bad thing to have some uncertainty floating around while you process. For men, there is a biological precedent, an evolutionary precedent, that if we float words around too much, it looks bad. It means we're not safe, it means we're not certain, it means we're not trustworthy in our leadership. And the result is we tend to hold back words until we're really super certain. Not only do we want to be super certain, but words are hard to take back once you've said them. So men place a lot of weight on saying these words. And that's why number one, if a guy is, sneaking the vulnerability forward, even if it's a really vulnerable, I like you, or I'm really falling for you, or I'm falling in love with you, or I love you, that's a big step for a guy. And I think sometimes women underestimate how big of a step that is and how scary that can be for a man. So when a guy is falling deeply in love with you, he is going to be using words like these. Number two, this is a more relationship skill-based one, but when a man says, you are right, or you were right, or I was wrong, I see your point, I should have listened to you. When you're in a relationship and things are progressing, and then a man says something like this, what does it show? It shows he's willing to put his ego aside. It shows he's willing to see you as a teammate, as an equal. It's a very neck on the line phrase for a man to say, and that's why this is such a loving phrase, because obviously a friend or a work colleague could say this to you, so it has to be taken in context. But when a genuine partner that you've been building with says this to you, that shows a teammate mindset, and that is a real act of love. He loves you, he loves your opinions, he's listening to you. It's more than just romance, it's you're his teammate, you're his lover. Number 3 is phrases that future project. So it could be when we blank, when we go on this date, when we go here, when we get married, when we start a family, anything future projecting like that. I see you in my future. I can't imagine life without you. Again, men place weight on their words. So if a man is saying these things to you, it's because he means them. When a man deeply loves you, he'll be using a lot more of this future projecting language, wanting you to see that he sees a future, not wanting you to think that he doesn't see a future, basically projecting to you that he's serious about you and that he really sees commitment and long-term love with you. Number 4, when a man says, I'm sorry. Could be, I apologize. Could be, I'll make it up to you. Could be, I understand what happened and I'll make it right. It shouldn't come from a victim place. So this isn't covert narcissist apologies. This is genuine, masculine, putting your ego aside and saying, I screwed up, I'll make it better. Or I screwed up and I hurt your feelings and I understand truly what I did and I'm deeply sorry. When a man is willing to put his ego aside like that, that says he's willing to see you as a teammate. That says he really does see you as an equal, and that shows volumes of love. Number 5 is my loves you. My work colleagues love you. My friends love you. My family loves you. My brothers love you. When a man is giving you those green lights, he's basically saying to you, hey, you're doing a great job. I see this progressing forward. Let's keep going. A man is not going to say that if it's not true, because he doesn't want to set up your expectations for failure. So when a man says my blank loves you, people he knows, absolutely a sign he deeply loves you. Number 6, another good relationship skill one is when a man is asking for your advice. This is a very big predictor of relationship success, this one. Hey, what's your opinion? What's your thoughts? What do you think here? It's not that he's going into complete underfunctioning mode and doing this all the time, but there are times where he stops and respects you so much that he needs your help. He asks for your help. And again, when a man is willing to put his ego aside and treat you as a teammate like that, treat you as an equal, that is such a high sign of respect, and it's such a high sign of his regard for you. And that's why this is such a strong sign of love. When a man is asking you for help, advice, your thoughts on things, very powerful sign that he's committed to the relationship and deeply loves you. Number 7 is protective phrases. And protective phrases could be, I won't let anything happen to you. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. I'll keep you safe. I'll make sure you're safe. And especially when it's not just all at the beginning, but when it ramps up over time, that's showing that a man is increasingly worried about your safety. He's increasingly connected to you. He's increasingly fearing the loss of you. And so his protective mechanism is kicking in and he's saying more and more things like this. That's absolutely a sign a guy is falling more deeply in love with you. Number 8 is we phrases. Things like, how can we overcome this together? How can we work on this? What do you think we should do? All these we phrases show that real teamwork mentality, and it's only men that really deeply love you that are going to see you as a true teammate. So look out for we phrases because they are absolutely a strong sign you're with the right guy and with a man who deeply loves you. And number 9, this is just a one-off phrase, and it's one that I think a lot of men won't naturally say, but it's a great one to ask for, and it's a great one to train them to say. And the phrase is, would you like me to listen, or would you like my help? A lot of times men get this wrong and we assume that you want our help. So you start venting about something or sharing a feeling and instantly we're in solver mode trying to fix it. If you can train a man to say, would you like me to listen or would you like my help? You will feel more loved. He will feel more appreciated because he's saying the right things now, and you'll actually get what you want from the guy, which of course validates him, so it's a whole positive feedback loop. A lot of times when you're complaining about something, when you're venting, you don't actually want him to fix it, you just want him to listen. So you could say to him, for example, hey babe, sometimes, when this happens, when you go into help, I know this isn't your intent and I feel a bit invalidated by it and a bit sad. And I was wondering if in the future, it would mean a lot to me. Would you be open to asking me the phrase, would you like me to listen or would you like my help? Would that be something you're open to? And the guy can say yes or no, but ultimately, if you can train him to say that phrase, it's a very loving phrase and it's also going to create more love in the relationship because a lot of times when you just want to feel heard and understood and his instinct is to provide a solution and to help, this phrase is going to help him back away from that instinct and instead just give you what you want, which is listening, presence, and to feel heard and understood. What are phrases that you say when you deeply love a man? Please leave those in the comments. I would love to hear them. Don't forget the free download, Commitment Currencies, is down in the description as well. And hit the subscribe button with the little bell. I'll see you in the next video.